I'm Ashley Carisi, and this is my presentation on best management practices for Streambank Protection. For a little bit of background excuse me, on the issue, phosphorus and nitrogen are elements that are found in many different things in nature, such as animal manure and soil that can cause eutrophication of waters if there's too much present in the water, which is basically you get like an algae bloom, and it leads to hypoxic waters, which is water that doesn't have oxygen, and their fish and wildlife can't survive in that water, and it just becomes a dead zone of nutrient deficient, oxygen deficient water. A common cause of too much phosphorus and nitrogen in surface water can be runoff from agricultural farms and establishments. But there are certain measures that can help reduce contamination of water. This presentation is going to be focusing on stream banks in particular. By adopting best management practices, water contamination of nitrogen and phosphorus in surface water can hopefully be decreased. One way of reducing contamination in water is through fencing. Fencing has multiple benefits to stream banks, which is not even just to stream banks, it also has multiple benefits to the herd as well. Putting a fence along the stream can stabilize the bank and reduce erosion. It also protects herd health, and there's better pasture management since you have more control over where the cows, the cattle, the horses, the sheep, whatever, can graze and traverse. And this in turn all will improve the water quality. Plants and trees can also be planted along the banks of the stream to help reduce that soil from eroding down into basically receding bank lines and erosion and stuff, because the roots help stabilize the soil. Shrubs are commonly planted at the bank base, and small plants are usually planted around the upper bank. The shade provided from the plants and trees can also lower water temperature, which combats the effects of climate change, which also contribute to eutrophication of the water. Trees can be used to divert currents away from banks to also help prevent that erosion, and they can also provide fish cover. Another method of streambank protection is called riprap. This is basically where rocks are placed along the stream bank to, again, help stabilize the soil. And it also it's like almost a protective armor or covering for the banks so that the water, as it rushes by, doesn't erode the soil down. This also can kind of be a physical barrier for contaminants into the water as they kind of get filtered or stuck in the rocks. They're commonly placed at the toe of the bank. Our next method is called log terracing. This method is used when less than 30% of the original ground cover is present. It's all been eroded away. There's not much original ground cover left. Trees are felled along the slope contour and bedded in shallow trenches to aid in the effects of preventing erosion and also reducing the amount of soil runoff. Brush mattresses are interlaced branches that are placed along the bank. Oftentimes, the base underneath the branches is made out of rocks. This provides a habitat for other birds and mammals. When the brushes are originally placed, they are not vegetating. There's no leaves or anything like that. But when they do start providing leaves and vegetation, the shade from those can again lower water temperature, which combats the effects of climate change, raising our surface water temperatures. For our conclusions, reducing runoff and soil erosion is critical for protecting our stream banks and other forms of surface water, and there are many methods that can be used to protect our stream banks that each have their own effects, their own drawbacks, their own positives, and they come at multiple price points, so there's something that something for everyone to try. And just here we have the sources that I used to find my research. I have some research studies and some stream bank restoration resources that I found my data from.